Hello BAM fam, my name is Jenna Morris, one of the creators of Back Alley Mages, and today I'm going to be showing you 3 rounds of a match to show you the basics of the flow of combat in the arena, using the Passion starter decks which we recommend for first time players. As a reminder, mages need a 30 card spell deck, up to 10 transmutations, 3 conjures, 2 lesser and 1 fabled conjure, and the dice needed to play your deck. Set spawn dice on your conjures equal to the values shown on the card back, and set the round timer, or the chrono die, to 1. Set all mages' health to 30. The first to 0 loses the match. As a reminder, if you haven't already, please watch our introductory video in the description. Back Alley Mages is played simultaneously through phases. That means there is no need to decide who goes first and no waiting on turns. Simply dive into Phase 1. Phase 1. Start of the round phase. All mages draw 5 cards. All mages gain a knowledge of choice. Knowledge always enters expended when gained. All mages sling all their expended knowledge. Note, when you sling knowledge, it becomes available. Phase 2. Spell preparation phase. Prepare any spells or traps you would like to cast or set with your available knowledge face down. Then discard the rest of your hand. Phase 3. Spell setting. Set your spells in the appropriate phases. Set knowledge on your set spells and conjures which you would like to summon. Summon conjures. Resolve Phase 4. Since there are no spells here, you can move on to the next phase. Phase 5. Resolve Phase 5 spells. Since there are no spells here, you can move on to the next phase. Phase 6. As you can see, only I played an offensive spell this round, and thus I am free to cast my spell without concern of resolution order. With deal damage spells, I am able to choose any target. After a spell resolves, you may expend the knowledge and the spell to their respective areas. Phase 7. Cleanup phase. Expend any knowledge or spells which are not in the persistence slots. And that is the end of 1 round. Now, you will spin +1 the chrono die, and start again. Phase 1. All mages will draw 5 cards. All mages gain a knowledge of choice. Remember, knowledge always enter expended when gained. All mages will sling their expended knowledge. Phase 2. Prepare your spells and traps that you would like to cast or set with your available knowledge face down. Discard the rest of your hand. Phase 3. Set your spells in the appropriate phases. Set knowledge on your set spells and conjures which you would like to summon. Summon your conjures. Resolve Phase 4. Since there are no spells here, you can move to the next phase. Resolve Phase 5. Since there are no spells here, you can move on to the next phase. Phase 6. This round, both players played a deal damage spell. The spell with more knowledge will always cast first. After I cast my spell, my opponent may cast their spells one at a time, starting with the highest knowledge. Phase 7. Cleanup, and expend any knowledge or spells which are not in your persistence slots. And that is the end of round 2. Now let's move on to round 3. At the start of the round, after the chrono die has spun up to round 3, you may remove spawn timers equal or less than the value of the chrono die. Then we will proceed with Phase 1. All mages will draw 5 cards. All mages will gain a knowledge of choice. All mages sling all their expended knowledge. Phase 2. Prepare any spells or traps you would like to cast or set with your available knowledge face down. Discard the rest of your hand. Phase 3. Set your spells in the appropriate phases. Set knowledge on your set spells and conjures which you would like to summon, and then summon your conjures. Let's move on to resolving our set spells. Since there are no spells in Phase 4, we can move on to the next phase. This round there are numerous spells on the table, with multiple resolution. Players will always play gain mana spells before gain defense spells. A card is provided in all starter decks as a reference for which effects go first in each phase. My opponent gained mana. With mana, you are able to gain a transmutation. My opponent must show me which transmutation they gained, and is then able to put that in their hand. Transmutations may be played at any time by placing them in the spell preparation area and resolving their effect. After they are used, they are then expended. My opponent will also be able to play their gain defense spell first, with a higher knowledge value of 6. They gain the defense, then leave the knowledge on the field to be used to block any damage of choice. Thereafter, I will do the same. Lastly, Phase 6. I will go first and deal damage. My opponent will use their defense to block, and then I will do the same. Note, any excess damage does go through to health. Once defense is used to block incoming damage, it is expended regardless of any excess defense left over. Phase 7. Cleanup. Expend any knowledge or spells which are not in the persistence slots. Now that we are in round 7, you can see that I must shuffle my expended spells in order to be able to draw 5 cards. When drawing a transmutation, you are free to cast the transmutation whenever you would like and without paying the mana cost. Let's quickly go over what happens when a conjure is summoned. In Phase 3, after you set your spells, you may set your conjures with the knowledge needed to summon them. Before going to Phase 4, you may flip and summon your conjure. They are spellbound the round they are summoned, which means they can neither attack nor defend that round. They may, however, use their abilities. We indicate this by slightly tilting them that round. At the end of Phase 6, all conjures attacked simultaneously down their lanes. The 2 conjures on the right will defeat each other, getting a new spawn timer. The conjure on the left attacks unopposed down their lane and will deal direct damage. The new spawn timer is always the round you are on, plus 3, up to 6. That is the basics of the flow of battle. Simply walk through phases 1 to 7 and resolve spells according to resolution order. Stay tuned for an analysis of each of the starter decks along with their unique mechanics.